I'm not infected. I'm not infected. Please.
Nothing happened the way it was supposed to happen. 6 billion people on Earth when the infection hit. Eat your vegetables. Don't just push them around. Eat them. I'm not playing. God didn't do this. We did.
I don't know about you, but during the first couple of weeks I thought I was in a post-apocalyptic movie. High streets turned into ghost towns, mass panic buying popped up. Many people seemed preoccupied with toilet paper, and in the US, gun interest went up 360%, as if we were preparing for the end of time. But human adaptability turned out to be astonishing. Very quickly, everyone tried to make the best of it. Like this ballet dancer, training on her balcony, or this DJ spinning his set in the kitchen. We started trying out new things. Do-it-yourself stores and garden centers watched their revenue rise. Learning how to play guitar became popular. In San Francisco, alcohol consumption went up 42%. And in China, the amount of divorces significantly increased. Interesting times for behavioral scientists. Where we cannot follow our old routines anymore, like going to the supermarket to get groceries, we immediately went online. And where we could not work at the office anymore, we almost seamlessly continue at home, even combining this with homeschooling for kids. Forced, but still, the scale of changes in behavior in such a short period of time is huge and unprecedented. Some expect or hope that everything will get back to how it used to be. We don't think so. Of course, some COVID-related shifts in customer behavior are temporary, purely based on coping with the crisis. But a significant part of our new behavior will stick. Take the huge spike that streaming services like Netflix experienced. They will probably retain a significant share of the new viewers because they have experienced the benefits. The same goes for shopping. Those who experience the convenience of home delivery will certainly spend more online than before the crisis. And in a similar way, working from home will also become much more mainstream. So, although the pandemic will eventually wane, a significant part of our new behavior will stick. Insurers that also want to be successful after the crisis have to understand this new behavior and turn this understanding into proposition and experiences that strike the right chord. They should start thinking ahead and reimagining the way that they can stay relevant after the dust had settled. The current crisis amplifies 4 trends that determine the priorities of insurance customers and what they will value in a post-COVID world. These 4 trends should serve as inspiration to reimagine the future of insurance beyond COVID. Let's take a closer look. Trend number 1 is health first, more than ever. If one thing became clear in the past period, it is that at the end of the day, there is nothing of greater importance than your life in health. And almost everyone agrees to that. Individuals, governments and businesses around the world do everything to protect themselves, their families, their citizens, their employees. Virtually everyone is prepared to make huge sacrifices to drastically change the way we live and even to put our entire economy in jeopardy. We also notice that health comes first in individual behavior, not just by staying at home, but also by paying more attention to health than they did before. What we learn about the virus certainly contributes to that. Not only pre-existing conditions increase the chances of complications, but also being overweight and some excess belly fat do so. As a result, people exercise more and eat healthier. Interest in home fitness equipment has shot up 344%. Hiking is up by 116%. And yoga mats, kettlebells, but also bicycles are selling like toilet paper. The online wellness industry is booming as well. Meditation apps and digital fitness classes are growing fast. Video conferencing platform Zoom, through which many workout, yoga and dance classes are broadcasted, has in fact become one of the most important social wellness platforms. People are also spending more time in their kitchen. Online cooking courses are booming. There's a growing demand for fresh, healthy and additive-free food. Fruit and veggie shops are up by 102%. All sorts of health apps experience a growing popularity as well. To monitor what you do, how you sleep, what you eat, how you feel, how much you exercise, it doesn't get more personal, more intimate. People value the sense of having control of things. But we also notice more willingness to share data. Several countries started using data from smartphones to control the spread of the virus. COVID Safe, for example. The app of the Australian government had been downloaded millions of times in just a few days. Apparently, many Australians are willing to share some of their personal data to prevent the spread of the virus. It just proves that reciprocity is the right way to solve data privacy issues. So, health and life insurance will grow in the next few years, but there's ample room for innovation. Proactive and preventive services, for instance. It will take a while before a vaccine is developed and everyone is vaccinated. Instead of simply waiting for that to happen, we can already start with prevention and promoting a healthier lifestyle. By eating better and exercising more, you become more resilient. Three-time Olympic medalist Arnold van der Leijden uses the following boxing metaphor. The more you move, the less you get hit. Insurers should play an active role or even take the lead in promoting a healthier lifestyle with tangible services. By the way, this would also and immediately increase their social impact. Platforms that combine self-tracking, data and all sorts of incentives to help consumers with healthier habits will become even more important than they are already. They form the foundation of entirely new business models, more relational, collaborative, participatory, assisting customers to manage their health over time. Trackers and platforms provide actionable information and insights for users, and this allows them to take a much more proactive approach themselves, also in assessing symptoms, connecting with healthcare providers, and self-management of care. Active participation allows customers to take more responsibility, and this is a fundamental shift in the relationship and a great new perspective for innovation. The second trend, connected living, now for real. COVID put an already ongoing shift to digital on fast forward. The whole planet just had a crash course in connected living. Working from home, days filled with virtual meetings, shopping for everything online, remote classes for children instead of going to school, streaming movies, online workouts and yoga classes, ordering food even from the finest restaurants, having drinks with friends on Zoom, even attending a funeral online in real time. It all became kind of normal in a short period. After years of incremental change, new digital routines were embraced within a few weeks. All kinds of aspects of connected living have become normal. And what we currently experience is a fundamental shift in how people will live and work. Connected living is the new norm. It reframes our daily life. Working patterns will shift. Millions of people got the chance to experience days without long commutes. Solutions like Zoom, Teams or Meet are adequate for a fair share of meetings. Much knowledge work can be carried out remotely. Many employees are starting to question why they had to go to the office in the first place. The situation will not go back to how it was, at least not entirely. For the time being, people will be careful. They will prefer to make less use of public transportation. And those who can will use their own car to get to work and prefer to commute alone. On the other hand, as people and organizations get more used to remote working, they will also probably reconsider commuting. So, mobility patterns will definitely shift. Consequently, usage-based car insurance will become mainstream, especially when people use their car less. Why pay a flat fee for a car that never leaves your front porch? Consumers will be integrating all sorts of new technologies into their daily routines. Consequently, homes around the world are going to become more connected and smarter. Remote working also leads to new risks. Most people are working in environments which are simply not set up for work. Take the security issues around Zoom, or the 475% increase in digital attacks in March. Safety and reliability are more important than ever. Thanks to connected devices, insurers will be able to offer more personalized services, meeting the lifestyle needs of customers. The more time we spend at home, the more important such services will become, as an extension of home insurance. New services that help customers manage their house better, reduce risk and decrease the total cost of ownership. With people working more from home, cybersecurity will become more important as well, of course. The scope of home insurance will need to broaden to new propositions combining home insurance, IoT, cybersecurity and services. At home and on the go, customers will increasingly reach out to their current providers digitally. And if it doesn't work, they will turn to another supplier that does a better job. A lot of insurers found out the hard way. When governments put a halt to face-to-face meetings, the sales of traditional insurance, brokers and agents collapsed. COVID revealed the weaknesses of traditional models. Many incumbents have always viewed their face-to-face channels as an important differentiator. During the crisis, they did not even appear to be a qualifier. Even worse, it made them vulnerable. The digital models, on the other hand, have proven to be resilient and successful in these difficult times. Never before have these differences become so clear. More and more insurance executives are realizing this. The current crisis is a wake-up call to many. They see the strategic importance and there's a clear sense of urgency. It is no longer an option to press the snooze button once again. This will also lead to a bigger role for insurtechs that enable the acceleration of digital transformation and innovation, because the timeframes to achieve this have been compressed. Let's go to trend number 3, unprecedented uncertainty lasting long. It is only September, but the year of 2020 will be forever known as the year of biblical disasters. The immense bushfires in Australia, the grasshopper plagues in Africa, Pakistan and India, and on top of that COVID. And in a few months' time, it seems like we've been thrown back to the Middle Ages, where plague lurks around the corner. We've suddenly woken up in a reality that our world is much more fragile than we once believed. Nothing is certain as it once seemed. People are concerned about the virus and their own health. What is COVID exactly? Where did it come from? Could I have it? And if so, what can I do about it? How can I prevent my parents from getting infected? When will there be a vaccine? There's an enormous hunger for information. But unfortunately, alongside the pandemic, there's also an infodemic taking place. Disinformation and misinformation occur on an unprecedented scale. Think of conspiracy theories on Facebook, the spread of well-meant but non-factual tips via WhatsApp, and a world leader who suggests that disinfectant injections could help. According to the World Health Organization, the infodemic is as dangerous as the pandemic itself. COVID also exposed the Achilles heel of companies and the economy. Think of too much dependence on distant countries and operating models that did not turn out to be robust at all. In just a few months, the situation and prospects of companies changed dramatically. The annual plans for 2020 have already been taken care of by the shredder. Companies are mainly working hard on saving what can be saved. The economic devastation of the pandemic is becoming painfully evident. In just 2 months, the unemployment rate in the US went from an all-time low to the highest unemployment rate since the Depression 100 years ago. Deep economic shocks and unemployment are usually accompanied by financial uncertainty, less consumer confidence and a shift away from spending. 52% of Americans already cut their spending in response to the pandemic. 54% are no longer considering big-ticket items such as homes, cars, holiday trips and luxury goods. The situation may be more positive in Europe because of the schemes aimed at keeping people employed. This may also lead to a higher confidence and propensity to spend. The various exit paths across countries are precarious. When will the economy get back on its feet again? Will companies and consumers start spending more, just as much as they did before the crisis? We don't know how uncertain consumers will deal with the new health protocols. Can we expect a new peak in infections in autumn? What will be the consequences for a recession by then? Will it even be more severe than we experience today? What we do know is that safety and reliability are more important than ever. Consumers will have a lower appetite for risk than they had before, so it is likely that they are more interested in protection than they were before. Insurance should explicitly confirm the feeling of protection and peace of mind to their customers. The economic downturn and resulting thriftiness increase the demands for insurance solutions and price propositions, which are simple, transparent and affordable. Not only usage-based insurance may become mainstream, we expect the same for embedded insurance concepts, in which coverage is part of the purchase of a product or a service, so that you don't have to worry anymore. The fourth and last trend, Empathy in everything. Show that you care. This starts with how we perceive globalization. Globalization was never perceived as a blessing by everyone anyway. And due to the outbreak, everyone really experienced the disadvantages. The pace at which this virus spread worldwide, as well as how fast supply chains stopped, are in the perception of many the consequences of globalization. National governments took the lead to protect their citizens from the pandemic. And we have rarely seen governments making such rigorous decisions in such a short period in time. Leaders from major countries had to radiate decisiveness, whilst using often strong language. With a certain eagerness, they compared the pandemic to war. And to combat the virus, each country uses its own solutions, which makes sense looking at the large differences between countries. But soon, the blame game started. Every country primarily cared about themselves, and embarrassing fights about medical supplies took place. We haven't seen much of international solidarity and coordination. The benefits of globalization have been carefully hidden during the past period. This retreat from globalization already started. Think of Brexit and the White House trade wars. During the upcoming period, countries and companies will keep looking for solutions to reduce vulnerabilities. Self-reliance is the most used word. Japan, for instance, provided subsidies to companies to get supply chains back to the country. And the Prime Minister of India speaks of a new era of economic self-reliance. The retreat from globalization is accompanied by what we see also on an individual level. During the period we had to stay at home, people also rediscovered all kinds of long neglected traditional life skills and pastimes, playing board games, baking bread, or simply spending a little more time with your loved ones. Self-isolation has forced us to rethink family time. The value of family is on the rise again. And the crisis also brought up some unexpectedly positive. Everyone is doing their utmost best to help all of us get through this trying time. Clients are buying gift certificates from restaurants so that they can stay in business. Toy animals are placed in front of windows so that little kids can go bear hunting. Applauding professionals and volunteers in the health sector. Italians started singing from the balconies to enhance the feeling of community, carrying groceries for those who can't. DJs spinning from their neighbors to boost morale. Toilet paper challenges with teammates to stay in touch and having fun together. Beer brewers recycled stocks to produce hand sanitizer. And of course, the absolute poster child, 99-year-old Tom Moore raising millions for NHS staff by walking laps in his garden. The number of heartwarming examples during the outbreak is unbelievable. COVID amplified the role of the insurance industry in protecting businesses and individuals. Now, challenging times see people craving for institutions that care, that support customers who are facing difficulty. So, actively reach out to clients, demonstrate your company's commitment to individual customers, act in the customer's best interest. Showing that you care certainly won't be forgotten. Empathy will become an important pillar of differentiation, now more than ever. To relate to customers, insurers need to secure the feeling side. Humans inject emotion, empathy, passion, creativity. They can deviate from the procedures if necessary. So leverage the human skills of co-workers, brokers and agents. Use advanced technologies to empower them, creating the best of both worlds. To conclude, what happened in the past period is having a significant impact on customer behavior. Consequently, customers are looking for a new generation of products and services that fit these new circumstances. Leaders of insurance companies not only have the short-term challenge to keep their business afloat, they also have to make sure the company remains relevant once the dust has settled. The 4 trends set the stage. A crisis usually functions as a great breeding ground for innovation. Innovation is no longer optional, but it's urgent and crucial. The new conditions and constraints forces us to think in new ways, and executives and employees are more open to radical solutions and much more efficient in realizing these solutions. Think of how rigorously companies and colleagues have switched to remote working. If we abstract from the current situation, we can only include that we got exciting times ahead, if we know how to seize the opportunities. If you want to learn more about the 4 trends and the new opportunities, then download our white paper at www.digitalinsuranceagenda.com.